Welcome back to the Girls Inc. of Santa Fe and Sim podcast series on staying safe with social media. Today, we're going to talk about personally identifiable information, or PII. Hi, I'm Madonna Hernandez, and I'm the Director of Programs.
And I'm Karen Shiozaki. I'm past board chair for Girls Inc. of Santa Fe and the current board chair for SIM.
What is PII? It is any data that could potentially identify a specific individual or distinguish one person from another. Some forms of PII are non-sensitive. This information can be easily gathered from public records, office directories, or phone books. Sensitive PII is information which could cause harm to the individual if it were disclosed. Some examples of this are social security numbers, medical information, financial information, ethnicity, and biometric information, such as fingerprints. There are many aspects of online security that you should be aware of, but today we want to focus on PII in social media, in particular, how the PII of you, your girls, and/or your family members can be unintentionally disclosed through the use of social media. If you have any questions regarding online security, please go to our website at girlsincofsantafe.org, scroll down to the bottom, click Contact Us, and leave your questions there.
So social media sites make their money from advertising. The advertisers like to personalize their ads based on demographics, interests, and geographical location. So social media sites really encourage their users to share as much information as possible. The more active a user is, the more valuable they are to the advertisers and therefore to the social media site. And because social media sites want you to keep sharing more and more information, they don't necessarily make it easy for you to manage your privacy settings, which would limit information sharing. Now, a majority of social media users don't bother managing their privacy settings and just accept the default settings. They don't understand that their personal information becomes available not only to friends and family, but cyber criminals too. Social media interactions with your friends builds a false sense of trust, and that's exactly what the bad guys take advantage of. Cyber criminals are really good at exploiting information from social networks. The typical Facebook profile page can reveal your date of birth, your relationship status, where you work, where you went to school. Researching your posts could reveal the name of your pets, your mother's maiden name, and nicknames that you go by. And guess what? All those things are common security questions for logging into transaction services like online banking. Now, there's been a trend in the past few years of cyber criminals hacking into social media accounts to obtain payment settings associated with your user profiles. Payment settings allow you to store your credit card or PayPal information to easily make purchases directly from the social media application. For example, when you want to buy an online game. Once the cyber criminals obtain control over a social media account, they can create fraudulent purchases and funnel the money to themselves. So if you post photos on Facebook that show you and your entire family on a beach in Hawaii, the fraudsters will know that your home in Santa Fe is likely empty. Depending on how much information you're posting with those photos, they may also be able to figure out how long you'll be gone and whether anyone is house sitting for you. And if you do have a house sitter, they could also buzz over to their social media sites to learn more about them. They can see if they work full-time, in which case they could probably figure that they won't be at your house during the day.
Wow. Okay, so now let's look at some examples of how your daughter's posts might cause problems for you and your family. Here's an example of how much information can be discovered from online activity by Jane, a sixth grader. Number 1. She uses a learning application that has a social media component to it. Her user ID is Jane S. And she lists that she lives in Arizona. Number 2, we also can see that she uses an email account jrsanchez@yahoo.com. Number 3, on Instagram, she posted a photo of herself with her teacher. Jane is wearing a school shirt that says Valley View Middle School. Number 4, in another Instagram post, we see a picture of her and several other girls wearing the same school shirt with the caption, hanging out at Circle K Park. Number 5, on Facebook, she posted a photo of herself and her brother with the comment, today is my brother George's 18th birthday. What we can figure out about Jane, the sixth grader, is 1, we know she's from Arizona. Number 2, from her email account, we learn that her full name is Jane Sanchez. We see that she goes to Valley View Middle School, so we search to see how many cities in Arizona have a school of that name. And of those cities, we then see which ones have a part called Circle K and discover that it is in Phoenix. Number 5, we can use a map app to pinpoint a rough area of where she lives using the school and the park as anchor points. And number 6, we know she has an older brother named George. Further web searching reveals a resume for George Sanchez that has his home address, which falls in that geographic area we identified. And now we know exactly where Jane Sanchez lives. This is not a far-fetched scenario. There was a case where an adult predator was impersonating a minor on an application for kids and befriended a girl. While she did not disclose much information to him in chats on that application, he was able to get enough information to do research on the internet to figure out where she lived. He made a trip to her city and asked her to come meet him. Fortunately, she told her parents about this online friend making a special trip to see her. They were able to get the police involved to apprehend the man. In 2017, a man from New Zealand flew across the world to the home of a 14-year-old girl that he had befriended on the internet through video gaming. He showed up at her house with a knife and pepper spray and duct tape. In another example, I know of a case where a 17-year-old was very excited that he completed his financial aid application for college and posted a picture of himself holding the paperwork. If you blew up the image, you could clearly see his parents' names, their social security numbers, and their bank account numbers. We want our girls to think twice about everything they post online and to be extremely cautious with strangers that they meet online. We want parents to know everything that the girls are doing online and what they're encountering when they're online.
Now, as parents, remember these basic security rules for social media. Number 1 is check your privacy settings. Make sure you're not sharing any information publicly. Social media platforms tend to change their privacy policies periodically, so make sure you're reviewing your settings on a regular basis. Second, don't put PII out on any of your social media posts. I mean, this seems really obvious, but as we discussed, you might expose some of your PII by accident without realizing it. So think twice about what you're posting. Third, use two-factor authentication. Now, this is a security process where you have to provide 2 different authentication factors to verify that you are who you are. Now, the factors are based on 2 of 3 things. It's something you know, something you have, and something that you are. Now, a single factor authentication is typically a password or a passcode, and that would be something you know. A second factor could be a security token given to you when logging in. That would be something you have. Or it could be a biometric factor like voice recognition, which is something that you are. Okay, the fourth rule is to disable geotagging. Now, unless I need my location services turned on, let's say I'm using a GPS app, I keep mine turned off. And avoid sharing your location in your posts. Wait until you get home before you post your vacation pictures because you don't want to alert criminals that you're out of town. And fifth, keep your social media apps up to date. When you get notices that updates are available, make sure you apply them because usually these updates include some very important security features that need to be installed.
As you discuss your smart social media use with your girls, please keep in mind, check your privacy settings. Don't put PII out on your social media posts. Use two-factor authentication, disable geotagging, and keep your social media apps up to date. Keep in mind that you should be having these conversations with your girls. And also, make sure you reference that online agreement that you have had with your girl. That's the end of this podcast. And again, if you have any questions regarding online security, please just go to our website at girlsincofsantafe.org, scroll to the bottom, click Contact Us, and share your thoughts. I'm Madonna Hernandez, Director of Programs.
And I'm Karen Shiozaki, Board Chair of SIM. Thanks again for listening to our Staying Safe with Social Media podcast series.